Hello and welcome to Epic Blocks. Last time we built ourselves an ominous bottle farm here at our pillager outpost. And of course you can see here that it is still up and running. And today, now that we have all these ominous bottles, we're going to go ahead and build a raid farm. And these are the materials that we're going to need. We will want a double chest, a hopper, one half slab, doesn't matter which type of material you use there. We'll want 2 stacks of solid blocks. And I do have a few extras here in case we need just a couple more. And we're actually going to have 34 glass, but I've got them split up here, so 26, 1, and 7. You could use solid blocks here, though it would require doing a little bit more spawn proofing. And for convenience, I do have these split in 3 sections. And we're going to use 15 trapdoors, 2 beds, of course 1 more glass there, 3 signs, and a bucket of lava, 26 ladders. We will need 1 job site. I do like composters, but you can use whatever you like. 7 more glass. We'll use 25 buttons. Again, the material does not matter. And we're going to need a villager and likely a boat and maybe even a lead to get the villager to where we want them. I'd also recommend having 1 torch. It's not technically needed here. The lava and spawn proofing will provide the light that we need. But 1 more torch at the base would be convenient. We're going to use some temporary blocks. You're going to want at least 16 or 17, but not much more than that. The lead, of course, for the boat. Again, I have a few extra solid blocks just in case we need a few more. But I do have 6 placed already at the site we're going to use. We have a pickaxe with silk touch, just in case I misplace any glass, that way I don't lose it. The lily pad will come in handy at the start, depending on where we actually wind up building this farm. And of course, we'll need some ominous bottles for the raid farm. The higher the level, the better. So we have Bad Omen 5. And we have a sword. It does not need to be a netherite sword, of course. But I do recommend having these particular enchantments. So the sweeping edge helps make sure that when you do attack, you hit everything that is in the way. If you're hitting one thing and it doesn't die, that can cause problems with this farm, particularly if you have witches and evokers in the way. If the evokers get the chance to attack, it is not fun. So having that sweeping edge to make sure that they get hit and go down when they can is very good to have. The looting 3 will increase the drops, particularly from the witches if you want more redstone or glowstone, various other things there. And mending will make sure that the sword does not break, because we will definitely be getting a lot of experience. Though it's not primarily focused as an experience farm, it will definitely be more than enough to keep that sword up and running. Alright, so now that we've gone over these materials, let me go ahead and grab everything. I'm going to keep our glass separate. Alright, and of course we are in creative right now. We definitely do not want to build our raid farm right next to the pillager farm, because it would cause the pillagers here that are spawning to join the raid, and we might never actually finish the first wave because these pillagers will continuously spawn in. So we definitely want to go a good distance away so that they cannot join. And I also recommend building this farm out over the water. It is the easiest way to spawn proof the area where the raid can spawn, and it is a very large area. So you might be able to see in front of me, there's a little bit of an island. It is just below the surface of the water. Makes this a convenient place to start. Though I will say, let me just jump a little farther over here. If you are building this out in a deep ocean, you could, of course, build a tower up from the ground. But in a deep ocean, that might require a lot of blocks, and you might be underwater for a lot. You could find some kelp and build up from there. So as you can see, just 3 blocks to get to the surface. But if that's not a convenient option, that's where the lily pad comes in handy. Here's my 6 blocks. And I'm going to go ahead and jump into survival mode. That one, there we go. Now the kelp, of course, can be placed on the water surface wherever you want, and then you could place blocks above it, right next to it. Oh, I'm on the wrong one. I wanted to use a temporary block. It's alright. But it gives us the option to put things wherever we want them. Come on, buddy. So the problem with building this on this higher elevation is that we may have some drown come up to visit. There we go. Just going to grab these random items. But yeah, so you may have an area like this where you don't need many materials to pillar up. But if you do need a lot of materials, then look for those taller kelp stalks, or just bring that lily pad and you can start right on the surface. All right. Now, to make sure that you are the proper distance away from any land, what you want to do is go into your options and video settings and set your render distance to 8. So the render distance of 8 basically gives us the exact distance at which the raid can spawn. So when we're in this render distance, if you see any land in the distance, the raid can spawn there. If you don't see any land, then you are safe. All right, now the next part here is, so we put our platform of 6. You can see it's just built on top of whatever was here on the island. And I do recommend facing south. Should be this way, yep. I've done a lot of testing for this. Now I'm playing in an older version, Minecraft 1.21.1, and the rules for how raids spawn have changed basically with every iteration, I think, just minor changes here and there. But I did some testing in 1.21.10 as well, and if we build this so that the spawning platform is oriented towards the south, it increases the odds of having the raid spawn normally. If you do have it pointed a different direction, sometimes the raid just fizzes out. And that could be a waste of your ominous bottle, but we will get plenty from our farm over there. Better to build this farm in the optimum direction so that we don't have any issues. And on top of this 2x3 platform that we have, we're going to place our double chest. And we're going to put a hopper at the back in the center going into the chest, so you can see which way the hopper's pointing there. And we'll put our half slab on top of that. And we're going to start, actually, it'd be easier if I do this from here, building on with solid blocks on 3 sides of that half slab. There we go. And we'll go up 1 more. Grab a temporary block. And now we're going to put a piece of glass in front of the dirt. So the glass starts 1 higher up than the solid blocks do. Get rid of that temporary block. It's going to be down in our chest. And we're going to go up for the full 26 blocks of glass. So that's 27 for the solid blocks because they start 1 lower. We're going to go ahead and start putting this in here on all 4 sides of our hopper and half slab. All right. So we've used up those 26 glass blocks and have our solid blocks at the same height. So this is where we are going to build our spawning platform. And we are going to start on this side where we are facing south. So that's going to be this block I'm looking at. And I do recommend crouching to make sure we don't fall off. And we'll place 6 more blocks this way. And then 2 going this way. So this is looking east. All right, and then we'll fill this in all the way to that side of our drop chute. Now you can make this platform different sizes. You can make it longer going that way, but you don't really get any benefit from it. You could make it a little bit wider. Sometimes makes it a little bit better for the Ravager spawning because the way we're going to do this, a lot of our Ravagers are going to be killed by suffocation, and it is slow. If they don't spawn in the walls where they suffocate, they might make it to the lava, which will kill them faster. But I found that sometimes the Ravagers just hang out and don't necessarily go all the way to the lava that we're going to place up here. And so keeping this narrow, just 3 blocks wide, does tend to give us the best results. Alright, we're going to need this glass block soon. We're going to need our buttons. And actually, we'll do the beds before we get to the signs. We're going to come back to our glass block over here. And at the top of our drop chute, we're going to place a trapdoor and open it up. And make sure that it is on this side over by the spawning platform. And we're going to place a temporary block on top of the glass and another trapdoor on top of that. We can open that up and break the temporary block. And drop me right in underneath the trapdoor. That's kind of fun. And I'll crawl out over here. Alright, so we like how this opens up so that it's going to be open and keeping any mobs from getting past this drop chute in that direction. Now we're also going to use a couple temporary blocks here. Not sure which way that one fell. Probably down there, or down the drop chute. Anyway, we're going to place another trapdoor on top of this block. And now we can get rid of this one. And open it up so that these 2 are side by side, though when closed they will be offset, one at the top of the block and one at the bottom. Now we go back to our solid blocks and we can make a ring. Make sure you're crouched for this first one so it's not moving the trapdoor. And go around the corner along the outside of our spawning platform. Again, stay crouched so you don't fall off. Now we do want to make sure that these are solid blocks, because if we use transparent blocks like half slabs or glass, those would prevent spawning, but they would not suffocate the Ravagers who get stuck inside the block. So if the Ravager spawns right here, he'd be inside this block and a bit of the blocks next to it, and he will suffocate because these are solid. But it does mean we're going to have to do some spawn proofing. So let me go ahead, just put a temporary block there, and I'm going to go ahead and place my beds in. So one will go right here. You can walk across the narrow trapdoors and we'll place the other bed here. Make sure we crouch. And we have our buttons. I like to make sure all the buttons are oriented in the same direction, but that does not matter. But the buttons are the cheapest and easiest way to spawn-proof these. You could use leaves or add half slabs on top, or a variety of other options. Anything that keeps the blocks from being spawnable. So signs do not work, though fence gates would, fence posts. But again, the buttons are the simplest as they're easy to make. Just craft them from planks. And let's go ahead. I'm going to place a temporary block on top of a bed. Again, I'll be crouched so we don't try to sleep. And we'll place a glass block next to that. Can't quite jump up that high. That's okay. I'm just going to break this temporary block. And got it there. Now we'll use our signs. And we're going to place one on the foot of this bed, and one on the foot of this bed. And then the third sign can go on the trapdoor or on the solid block. Solid block doesn't require crouching, so ever so slightly easier. Grab our lava. And now the signs and the beds will not burn. Our trapdoor will be fine. I believe buttons burn, but nothing close enough there. If you use a solid block here, make sure you have enough buttons or something else to put on top. And we're going to use the rest of our trapdoors and place them on the outer edge, every other space. Now what these do is it makes it so that our Ravagers do not get shifted outside of our ring here, so they stay in the spawning platform. Without the trapdoors, if a Ravager was to spawn over here or over there right now, it could potentially be shifted outside where it would fall into the water, taking no damage, and then you have to deal with it in person, and you have nowhere to go because you're surrounded by water. I believe that will still work, though I like to have them on the top. If you're concerned about that, we could break it, fall down into the water down there and grab it and come back, because that is one of the next things we're going to do. And this last one I'm going to put here. I don't think this one's really required. The beds will help hold in the Ravagers if they spawn all the way in the corners, but just in case, in my testing I never needed it, but if one ever was to spawn right here, you never know. Maybe it has just enough room to pop out that way, and you don't want to deal with that. There we go, break that temporary block, and we can get out here. Actually going to stand right on the edge, pop myself down low onto the glass block. You definitely do not want to leave either of these open when you start running the raid. Keep these closed so that they keep all the mobs inside. But from over here, I can quite easily jump off into the water back to the bottom. And I'm going to grab my ladders and build them all the way up to the top. This will give us the option to pop up here. There's a couple reasons why we might want to. And you don't need a ladder on this top block. It's actually a nice place to just stand here. So you do have to use your up or forward button to get into this position. You can open that and access the spawning platform. Sometimes things will die up here, and you might want their drops. I have seen several evokers die because of the lava, and Totem of Undying might wind up right here, over here, even right here, and you want somebody to come up here to grab that. And of course other things can spawn up here as well, or drop up here as well. And it's nice to have this access just in case you want to make sure you're getting everything. Also, if a Ravager spawns inside the wall and gets stuck, you can come up here and take a swipe at it. You want to be careful coming all the way over, and make sure that the Ravager is the last thing up here. There we go, and we'll go back down and take the quick route into the water. We are going to want to place our buttons on these 4 blocks as well, so that will spawn-proof them. And now, except for the spawning platform, which is lit by the lava, so there won't be any other spawns, there is nowhere in sight that anything can spawn, except our raids don't care about light levels, so they will spawn up on that platform. But just because it does get kind of dark, especially with the rain right now, I would put a torch right about there. Not needed, but lets you see a little bit more what's going on, at least down here, if it was night or anything, which I won't have in my video. Anyway, as you can see, we're getting close to the end of our build, and we had 3 extra solid blocks, though 3 of them would have been these. So we'd need 2 solid stacks plus 3 if you build it exactly like I did. Won't need the bucket anymore. We'll need our composter, the last few glass blocks, and soon we're going to need our villager. I'm not going to use the lead, but you might want to use the lead to get the villager wherever you need to. Go ahead and place a boat down here. We'll add a villager into it, as if we had rowed him over. And I'm going to go ahead and place a solid block here, just a temporary one. And we're going to go up. And we're going to place our job site, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right there. And we're going to build a ladder. Let's go one more. And we'll swing back this way. Okay, now that we're up here, I'm going to put a temporary block above the composter. And we're going to use some glass. One last temporary block right here. We'll glass on this side. And glass on this side. Before I put the next piece of glass, I'm going to break my temporary block. Jump on out. And our final glass will go here, but we need to get our villager in first. So, and he should go right to that job site. Though I am going to turn on my hitboxes, make sure I hit the boat and not him. There we go. You might sometimes need to give him a little push to get up onto the first block, but once there, he should go right up on his own, fall in, and take up his new job. And we can place the final glass block here. Now again, if you're using solid blocks here, make sure you have buttons or something to put up here, because light alone will not be enough to prevent the raids from spawning in these positions. But they cannot spawn on glass, and they cannot spawn on buttons. So there is nowhere for them to spawn, except all the way at the top on that spawning platform. At least once we get rid of all these temporary blocks, that will be the case. There we go, and I'm going to go around and collect all of these. So I didn't see any others floating, so I suspect that one we lost went down here. Nope, I don't know where it went. Maybe just fell out here and took longer than 5 minutes for you to come back down. Anyway, we lost one temporary block, not a big deal. But this is the farm, up, and won't say running yet because we still need to drink our ominous bottle, but it is fully set up. And speaking of which, let me go ahead. Again, I do recommend going into your options and going on hard difficulty, because it will increase the waves and the potential drops you can get, some more enchanted gear or anything. Not much that we're going to get out of that, but at least potentially that could come in handy. Let me go ahead and drink this up, and we immediately go into our raid omen, which only takes 30 seconds to count down. And then our raid will start. Grab my sword. And I like having all the glass here so that we can see exactly what's going on up there at the top. Well, shouldn't say exactly because we can only see that tiny little portion, but I have an idea of what's going on. And here they come. There we go. Technically, we can let them sit here as long as we like. They cannot see us, so they're not going to attack. And once they settle, we can use our sweeping edge to make sure we hit everybody. But in the later waves, when we have witches, we do not want to give them the time to start healing anybody, because if they heal an evoker, and we hit the evoker and it doesn't die, that's when it can attack us. None of the others should be a problem, but those evokers certainly can be. They can summon Vexes, and their other attack isn't much fun either. But as long as we're killing everybody in one hit, we will be perfectly safe. And again, that's one of the reasons why the sweeping edge comes in handy. And don't wait for them to settle. Just wait for them to get into this line of sight right below the glass. And you can start swinging away. Oh, and you can see we've got a Ravager stuck up there. And he's definitely close enough I don't have to put myself in too much danger. So I can come on up and speed things up by taking a few swipes at him. There we go, and I'm going to jump off so that I'm down here before the next wave comes in. So he got a hit on me. But that's alright, a little extra experience. And again, you could certainly wait down here, it just takes a little longer. There's our witches. And again, they die in one hit as long as you don't wait for them to do any healing. And we might get some potions from them. See anything still in the hopper? No, just empty bottles, redstone and glowstone, gunpowder. Good stuff, but no potions yet. Look like somebody died immediately when they landed. They must have taken a little bit of damage from the lava up top first. So that definitely happens sometimes. But none of these mobs have a significant difference in drops based off of whether you kill them or if they just die from the lava and the drop. There we go. As you can see, we've got a couple of Totems of Undying now. If you wanted, you could hold your sword in the offhand, but again, because of witches and evokers, you run the risk of one of the evokers noticing you and attacking. At least 3 mobs up there still. Bad timing. Oh, I'm on the glass, that's why. So I saw a Ravager up there. You can tell by the size of the hitbox. It looks like he made it to our lava. And yeah, you can see the raid bar is dropping quickly, indicating how much health he's losing. And the last 2 mobs will now drop down. We have the evoker, but no witches. And that is a victory. And you can see we've got our hero of the village. And now the next thing you might want to do, it would require some additional spawn proofing, but you could place out some more ground, bring some villagers over, and after completing a raid, they will throw things to you. Now I think most people who do these farms, they are interested in the Totems of Undying. Let's see, we got a couple of things up here, probably some saddles. Quite a few saddles. And just like that, we've collected all the stuff, and we're ready to go back down. And we can do this again. Go ahead and fill these saddles in, because I don't want to hold on to them. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Totems of Undying. And we got 9 emeralds, 54 redstone, 6 glowstone, 6 gunpowder, axe with sharpness 1, and an axe with sharpness 2. 1 spider eye. Oh, I thought that was a little low on emeralds. We got a full stack over here. So, definitely get some good stuff here. It's not all about the Totems of Undying, but those are definitely the most valuable. And because of our ominous auto farm, you could spend a lot of time over here. Stay perfectly safe. They'll keep an eye out for any drown that might wander up. Got another Ravager just taking very slow damage, suffocating in that wall, but unable to be popped out to the outside. Reaching from here, just out of range. That's alright, I'll just let him die slowly. Oh, and his saddle. Very exciting. Still no potions, that's a little surprising. The witch can drop quite a few potions. The odds of them dropping, though, are not particularly high, and it's only when they're drinking. But because of the damage they take from the fall, they're usually drinking something, often a potion of healing. And that's another victory. In my experience, it's really unusual not to get any potions in a single raid, let alone 2. But sometimes that's what you get. Basically, we've got another stack of emeralds, almost to a second stack of redstone, and some more axes with sharpness 1 or 2. Of course, we've got crossbows and other things to play with as well. But this is the farm completely done. And of course, our hero of the village again. But I probably wouldn't bother to go up after every single raid, but probably every other raid. But again, this is the farm completely up and running. And when you run out of ominous battles, just head back over to the pillager outpost and the farm we have there. And you're all set. Once again, thank you for watching. This is Epic Blocks.
Huh.